Hello friends, I welcome you all to Nandip Academy for UPSC and MPSC. In today's session, we are going to analyze the Hindu editorial dated 20th December 2020. Two articles will be analyzed here. Let's begin with the first article. The first article is called Essential Dry Run. So we need to see in what context this article has been written, what is the meaning of dry run, and why is it essential. Okay, so as you all are aware that in the next 2 weeks the COVID vaccine is expected, and this is expected from Indian manufacturers. Almost 600 million doses are to be given to 300 million people in two times. So before this vaccine is given to such a huge population, what is essential is that a dry run is to be conducted. A dry run is to be performed. So what is dry run? Dry run is a testing process where the effects of a possible failure are intentionally mitigated. So whenever such a massive scale operation is being conducted, there are some chances of it being a failure. So as to minimize that failure, so and intentionally such failures are to be minimized, to be reduced. For that, a dry run is performed. So that is the meaning of dry run. Now in India, the government has notified or decided that four states in the northwest southeast of India have been chosen for conducting the dry run of the COVID vaccine, and we will see which those four states are. And in order to understand this article, we also need to understand what is the COVID IT platform. The COVID IT platform is actually an app which is specifically developed uh, for collecting the COVID vaccine related information. And there are 5 modules based in this app, and all the COVID related information about the patients, about the dosage taken by the patients, about the age of the patients, all that information would be registered on this COVID IT platform app. Let's begin with the first slide. This is the introduction wherein the government has announced that in the next 2 weeks, phase 3 data trials of the COVID vaccine were tested by the Indian manufacturers are expected to be submitted for emergency use approval. There would be a country-wide rollout to immunize 4 high-risk groups, and even if one of these two vaccines gets approved, the 4 high-risk groups would be the first ones to receive this vaccine. As you all are aware that India has been vaccinating millions of children with a variety of vaccines each year. So it is well prepared to carry out any universal immunization program. So this would not be the first instance for India to carry out a vaccination program. At the same time, we need to remember that although India is uh, adept and good at carrying out a universal immunization program, but this would be the first time a vaccine outside the program is to be administered. And this is also the first time that a vaccine meant for adults is also going to be carried out by the Indian vaccination program. Apart from this, related to the COVID vaccine, there are four main challenges that we need to understand while giving this vaccine. The first challenge is vaccination of millions of adults who belong to different age groups. Now, you must be aware, you must have read that those people who are above the age of 50 and 60 are the first ones who are going to receive this vaccine. The medical healthcare professionals are the other who are going to receive this vaccine, and these are some of the people who are in the high risk groups. So the vaccination is going to be given to people who belong to different age groups. The second challenge would be administering two vaccines a few weeks apart. So the COVID vaccine has come in two stages. After the first vaccine has been given, after a few weeks, the second vaccine is to be administered. So this is going to be a next challenge. The third challenge would be to enroll the patients. As we are aware, the entire country is not going to receive the vaccine in the first stage. 4 high-risk groups are going to be identified, and these would be the ones who would receive the vaccine in the first stage. So enrolling these patients and rolling out the immunization program would be the next challenge. And government has therefore decided to go for a dry run program. So now let's focus on the dry run program. What is it, and in which states is it going to be carried out, and what is it that we need to know about the COVID IT platform? So the dry run would be carried out, that is, the testing process would be carried out in 4 states, which is going to be expected in this week. The 4 states are Punjab in the north, Andhra Pradesh in the south, Gujarat in the west, and Assam in the east. So these are the 4 states where the dry run is going to be carried out. With the dry run, it will allow administrators to test the vaccination process. At the same time, it will also allow the administrators to check the usage of the COVID-19 platform for management of the entire vaccination process, including data entry, allocation of date, time, and the drill session. The dry run would also allow to establish linkages between the planning, the implementation, and reporting mechanism. Now, to understand the process, how the entire process would be carried out, or we will see that. So, at the first stage, the high risk groups will be prioritized. They will be identified. They first have to register with their details on the COVID IT platform. The COVID vaccine will be administered to 100 adults at each designated site on a predefined date and time. Prior to administration, the bona fide of the registered adults is to be determined, tested, and verified. The IT platform has to generate the date and the time when the next dose is to be given. And that is about the process. So we can conclude by saying that the challenge would be when more than one vaccine, as I said in the beginning, the government is in the process of giving a yes to 2 vaccines. But when both the vaccines are out in the market, the challenge would be that if a patient has received one vaccine, let's say vaccine A, the challenge would be that the next second dosage also has to be given to that patient. A vaccine has to be given. If there is a if the second vaccine, if B vaccine is administered, it is going to be very dangerous for the patient. That would be a major challenge. The second would be checking that all the adverse reports are immediately immediately reported to the concerned person, to the concerned doctor. Both these vaccines are at an advanced stage of testing and they do not require ultra low temperature for delivery and for storage. So that is a good point for the universal immunization program. Therefore, the existing facilities of the universal immunization program can be utilized for delivery and for storage. And the plan is to administer this vaccine to 300 million people in 4 high risk groups. So therefore, 600 million doses will be required. So the challenge would also be to keep these many doses ready, and storage of vaccine needs utmost attention because developing storage facilities for 600 million vaccines would be the challenge, and if that is dealt with, then the process can go on smoothly. That is about the essential dry run article. Let's move on to the second article. The second article is called Limited Partnership. And this is an article. Let's see what this article is about. Now, you are all aware that West Bengal is going for elections in January 2021. And the two major parties between which there is a tussle is the BJP and the All India the Trinamool Congress Party. So these are the two parties which are in the foray and between which there is the tussle. But along with these particles, there is an alliance that has been formed in West Bengal with the Congress, between the Congress and the left front. So this article is going to focus on the history of this alliance, the present of this alliance, and the future of this alliance between these two major parties of the BJP and the Trinamool Congress. That is what we are going to study in this article. Let's focus on the vocabulary that has been used in this. The first is salvage, pronounced as salvage, which is a verb which means to rescue. The second is meager, pronounced as meager, is an adjective which means little in quantity. The next is rallied, which is a verb which means come together again. That is the vocabulary. Let's move on to the first slide. The first slide is about the introduction of the alliance. So the alliance in West Bengal is formed between the Congress and the left front. These two are expected to cooperate both at the national level and also be partners in the assembly elections. They have been partners at the assembly elections in Bihar. So that is the reason why these two parties have come together. The CPI, that is the Communist Party of India, Marxist-Leninist, was also part of the Grand Alliance in Bihar. But here we need to understand that this party, CPIML, is not a part of this alliance in West Bengal. The Congress and Left Front Alliance believe that the elections will not be a straight election between the All India, that is between the AITMC and the BJP. At the same time, the alliance is staring at an extinction owing to the tussle between the two major parties. Though the alliance, through the alliance, the Congress and the Left Front are trying to make a support base and also to consolidate their resources. So that is why the alliance has come together. At the same time, the alliance will also be responsible for contributing to anti-BJP votes, and the alliance is expecting support from the Muslim constituencies which are there in West Bengal. We need to know that the others here are the BJP and the AITMC. The AITMC has risen from the ashes of the left front that was in power for 34 years and it has weakened or it lost in 2011. So after that, AITMC has risen from these ashes and it has never gone behind. It has never had to face defeat. About the BJP rose more dramatically by winning 40% of the votes and 18% Lok Sabha seats in the state in 2019. And after the deep inroads which were created by BJP in 2019, it has never seen a looking back. Those who do not want to join the BJP or the AITMC have an alternative in the alliance of the Congress and the Left Front. So the alliance in this context can be seen as the other, that the people who are not in favor of BJP and the AITMC can look at the alliance as an other. We also need to understand that Mrs. Mamata Banerjee is equally an enemy for the alliance like the BJP. And if Ms. Banerjee is evicted from power in the state, then the alliance is a viable anti-BJP platform in the state. We can conclude by saying that today alliance is more in a state of confusion than a strategy to win for both the Congress and the Left Front. Cohabitation is not possible because of the structural and ideological disabilities of both the Congress and the Left Front. The alliance in West Bengal could lead to more problems in Kerala, where they are going to be opponents in the assembly elections. So coming together in West Bengal is going to be a real challenge. The BJP has already made significant inroads in West Bengal, as can be seen from the local body elections. And geographically selective alliance could open up avenues for BJP. As I mentioned earlier, the alliance has a predominance and a support base in selective constituencies with a Muslim predominant population. And this geographically selective alliance could actually open up avenues for the BJP. So the elections are going to herald whether it is BJP that is the winner or whether it is AITMC which is the winner or it is the alliance who has a limited partnership, whether that will form the next government in the state of West Bengal. Thank you.